This video is to introduce you to a small display called TM1637. You are starting an Arduino project and you have a small constraint to keep the budget as low as possible. Maybe because you want to mass produce it sometime. You've got different options for displays. You can start with the 16:2 display, which is most commonly used, has 16 characters in 2 lines, and you get it with an I2C interface that uses just 4 wires to connect to the Arduino board. Or you can also go for this display, which is a color display and a touchscreen. But maybe because your project doesn't need all these fancy items, maybe because all you need to display is just numbers. So you can go with this ultra basic display. This uses 7-segment displays, 4 7-segment displays, something similar to a digital clock, and can be used for digital clock as well. But the benefit is it uses just 4 wires to communicate with your Arduino board. You have a voltage, you have a ground, you have a clock and a data, which might look very similar to an I2C or I2C protocol, but this is something slightly different. You can use any digital pin for that purpose. So let's see how it's wired. Imagine this is your Arduino board. You can take any Arduino for that purpose. You can use Arduino Nano, Uno, Pro Mini, and any of those family. You can take the 5-volt pin of the Arduino and the ground, which goes directly onto your display board. In your display board, there are 4 pins and they are labeled underneath. The 5-volt has to go to the VCC part. The negative or the ground has to go to ground. You have got clock and data which can be connected to any pin of the microcontroller. So for example, I have taken pin number 2 and pin number 3. It's that simple. So let's see how it's programmed. Once you've done your wiring, we'll move to the programming part. The program is very simple. You'll have to first install a library by the name TM1637. Once it's installed, you can take file examples TM1637 and you can take a default example, which is actually a very big program. So I've taken a very minimal version of the example program here, and this will work. You'll have to include the header file. You'll have to select which all digital pins of Arduino is connected to clock and data. You'll have to initialize this using the pin numbers. Then you can set the brightness of the LED and display.show number decimal DC. In bracket, whichever number you write will be displayed. So if you want an integer to be displayed, say for example, the name of the integer is count. You can replace this with count. You can also add a small delay. And you can increment count. So this keeps displaying numbers from 1 to 9999 every 100 milliseconds. So that's it. Thank you so much and enjoy.